I'm Jill with the Mobile Public Library, and today I'll have a recommendation for basically a book and a TV show at the same time. I want to recommend the Expanse series. I started with a TV show, which was on Amazon Prime, but you can also check it out from any of our branches, and you can pick it up from curbside. And I'm not sure how many seasons they're up to right now. Maybe four, I want to say, maybe five. I'm not sure. But I watched the first two seasons of The Expanse, and then I ran out of show at that point. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go read the books. So I picked up the books, absolutely loved the books, even more so than I liked the TV show. And then I got past the point in the TV show they were up to. And then when I try to go back to season 3, I'm like, okay, I'm confused. Because I will say the TV show and the books kind of keep to the same spirit, like they kind of end up in the same place and the characters are similar and all that kind of stuff. So I think if you like one, you probably like the other. But some of the events happen in a little bit different order and are a little bit different way, so I was confusing the two because I'm like, wait a second, didn't she do that, not that guy? And so I figure I'm gonna finish one and then I'm gonna go back and pick up the other. But the thing with The Expanse is it's fantastically written space epic. You got a brilliant cast of characters and a lot of stuff that's going on, and it's very smartly written. Some people have compared it to like a sci-fi Game of Thrones, which I don't know if that's necessarily a fair comparison because it's got a very different feel from Game of Thrones, but as far as the level of complexity and the richness, I would say it's similar. The first book and the first season of the TV show, you basically have several different groups of characters doing different things in different places, and then it all comes together in the end where you can see how they're all related to each other. You've got a cop on a space station investigating a missing person. You've got a group of people who were on an ice hauler that went horribly wrong. They're like kind of hit by pirates basically, and they are in a escape capsule trying to survive. And then you have political maneuvering on Earth between Earth and Mars, who are just on the brink of war with each other. And you first start reading this and you're like, what do these people have to do with each other? But it all comes clear by the end, and like I said, it's all very smartly written and plotted, and all of the characters are really well drawn, and they feel like real people with real problems. And another thing I will say that I very much enjoyed is the fact that they're all grown-ups. There's an enormous market for teen and 20-something and coming-of-age stories, and there are a lot of them out there, but as somebody who's definitely middle-aged, I'm like, I just don't care anymore. I mean, I prefer reading about grown-ups, and not grown-ups going through a divorce and miserable, but grown-ups doing things, interesting, exciting things. So this was right up my alley. So I finished the first book, and this and just sped through the rest of the books. The first book in the Expanse series is called Leviathan Wakes. Give that one a try, and I think you'll be hooked if you like sci-fi adventure, complex plotted things at all. I think you'll be hooked and want to read more. And I will say also, they're big books. It's a big series, but it actually kind of moves in arcs. I think it's the first 3 books go together, and then they kind of stop that story, and then a couple years go by, and then they pick up with the same cast of characters, another story, a few years later. So, you could read like 1, 2, and 3, and then stop there, or take a break, and then move on to something else, and then come back to it. I mean, I enjoyed them and read them all back to back, but I know sometimes you're like, yeah, I don't really want to commit and read that much of a long, in-depth series without any closure. So I will also give you that tip, and I am going to go back to that TV series as soon as they finish the book series, because it was also really good with a really good cast. So I would recommend either of them. And another thing I would recommend is Rice Krispie treats. If you've only ever had packaged ones, you're missing out. You got to make your own Rice Krispie treats with real butter. And almost the recipe on the box, I always just put more butter in. I put the whole stick, not just like the 2 tablespoons they call, so that the extra butter, and then actual fresh crispy Rice Krispies that you made yourself. I mean, they're so much better than those packaged ones. Anyway, let me know at the comment below the video, what have you been watching, eating, and reading lately? Bye-bye.